I look forward to all your feedback. I'm just going to share my screen. All right. Does everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. So I'm Karina Gasbarrino, co-founder and CEO of Sonaro, a digital health startup with a mission to make 3D diagnostic ultrasound for vascular disease simple and accessible to all. So at Sonaro, we are in the business of tackling the critical issue of stroke risk misclassification. So to bring this into perspective, let me introduce you to one of our patients, Maria, a 62-year-old grandmother. Now, a few months ago, Maria's life took an unexpected turn as she began to experience debilitating migraines. A 2D ultrasound exam of her neck artery revealed the presence of a fatty buildup called plaque. Now, her physician interpreted that plaque as being minimal risk and decided that he would only screen Maria again in 1 year. But 4 months later, Maria suffered a devastating stroke, leaving her paralyzed and robbed of her ability to speak. Unfortunately, Maria is not alone. So close to 30% of all patients that are screened for plaques using 2D ultrasound, which is the primary imaging tool, are misclassified for their risk of stroke. In the US alone, that equals to 1.8 million Americans each year at risk of death, paralysis, or some form of speech impairment. But why is this the case? Well, despite being cheap, safe, and widely available, 2D ultrasound has serious limitations. One being that it is heavily operator dependent, meaning that even slight changes in the probe angle could lead to faulty results and bad quality imaging. But that's not all. The image interpretation process is manual, subjective, and ignores the 3D structure of the plaque. So these inefficiencies burden healthcare providers and delay patient care. But now imagine a future that's free from these challenges. And so that's where Sonaro steps in. We've developed Vaso 3D, an AI-powered software solution with 3D capabilities to address these limitations in 2D ultrasound for improved stroke risk assessment. So with Vaso 3D, we offer 3 main values for patients, healthcare providers, and healthcare systems as a whole. So first, we can reduce diagnostic errors by creating these precise 3D reconstructions of the vessel wall and provide an automated analysis. Secondly, we can reduce workload burden by eliminating reliance on the operator and promoting accessibility of our technology in areas where specialized healthcare resources and expertise are limited. And finally, we can also promote a faster diagnosis by allowing 4 times more billable scans to be performed per day, increasing revenue and alleviating imaging backlogs. So how does Vaso 3D work? So Vaso 3D is not just an AI-powered analysis and 3D modeling system. It also streamlines the entire ultrasound acquisition and workflow. And that workflow comprises 3 essential steps. So first is data collection. So we use an off-the-shelf sensor that we attach to a 2D ultrasound probe, allowing us to track this probe's orientation and position like a GPS. This setup really makes it possible for any healthcare provider to perform the exam. So instead of the typical 30 to 40 minutes that this exam takes, our solution only needs a simple sweep through the neck artery, as is shown in this video, capturing the necessary data all in under a minute. The data is then securely uploaded to our cloud platform, where it's then transformed into a precise 3D model of the neck artery. Our software then automatically analyzes this 3D model, generating a detailed report that highlights clinical metrics of plaque severity and stroke risk. Now, traditionally, it takes weeks or even days to provide results back to the patient. However, our platform actually processes all this data and delivers a report in just minutes, making it completed all during the same patient session. Now, Vaso 3D is designed to be hardware agnostic, meaning from an ultrasound standpoint, it integrates into existing 2D ultrasound probes. So this includes traditional cart-based machines that are commonly found in clinics and hospitals, as well as portable handheld devices, making our solution both accessible and cost-effective, even in point-of-care settings. Additionally, Vaso 3D is compatible with various off-the-shelf sensors. However, we established a partnership with Northern Digital Inc., which is a leading global manufacturer of medical sensors, giving us exclusive access to their technology for our specific application. We have a supply agreement in place, which will allow us to include their sensor as part of our software package for clients. Now, importantly, we've taken significant measures to safeguard our intellectual property, which is entirely owned by Sonaro. Our IP portfolio includes both a pending patent and trade secrets. So this past April, we submitted an international patent application that protects our unique methodology, workflow, and software architecture. In addition, our algorithms and source code are all secured as trade secrets. We conducted a pivotal pilot study in Montreal within a simulated clinical environment where we compared Sonaro's Vaso 3D technology to a traditional 2D ultrasound exam. With Vaso 3D, we achieved a remarkable 10 times faster scan time while maintaining over 90% accuracy in our models compared to expert radiologist measurements. This milestone study was led by our in-house sonographer, Rafia Khan, in collaboration with Dr. Taj, who is the Vice Chair of Radiology at Johns Hopkins and also our clinical imaging advisor. Now, building on the success of this initial study, we're extending our clinical validation to the US and Mexico in vascular imaging centers with a cohort of 100 patients. And these studies will pave the way for our 510 application to the FDA. And to facilitate hospital integration and drive market adoption, we'll initiate hospital trials in 2025 in the US and Canada, leveraging our network of clinical advisors and partners. Now, Vaso 3D is classified as a Class 2 software as a medical device. To obtain FDA approval, we'll undergo the 510(k) pathway, leveraging two predicate devices. We're currently awaiting a pre-sub meeting with the FDA to finalize the design of our clinical studies, and we anticipate submitting our 510(k) application by mid-2025. Now, Sonaro operates in a competitive landscape with two primary types of competitors. So the first category includes manufacturers of 3D ultrasound machines, which face challenges related to operator dependency and high costs. The second category, which includes C-Mode, Elucid, and Clearly, offer post-processing image analysis solutions that depend heavily on the quality of incoming images. Sonaro sets itself apart by combining the benefits of both of these approaches, offering 3D visualizations and automated analyses at a significantly lower cost. But what truly differentiates Sonaro is its ability to streamline the entire ultrasound exam process into a single point-of-care tool. This is critical because it opens new commercialization opportunities in care settings that competitors cannot access with their current technologies. So not only can Sonaro penetrate standard of care markets in hospitals and vascular imaging centers, where even the majority of our competitors cannot compete, we can also expand our solution to underserved regions with limited infrastructure. Additionally, by increasing the throughput of exams, our technology helps healthcare systems manage the growing burden of vascular disease, enabling them to serve more patients efficiently. Now, our business strategy will unfold in two phases. So after FDA clearance in 2025, phase one will focus on targeting those standard of care vascular imaging centers and hospitals across the US. We'll use a SaaS model with a fee per scan pricing structure that's complemented by a tiered annual service fee that also covers the cost of the sensor. Our solution will not only allow hospitals to bill more per day due to increased patient throughput, but will also allow them to bill more per patient by leveraging additional CPT codes that exist. In our phase two approach, we'll partner with portable ultrasound manufacturers, allowing us to expand our reach into mobile services and rural clinics. Now, with our phase one approach, we're targeting a sum of $325 million USD within the US based on the current volume of carotid ultrasound scans that are performed annually. But as the cardiovascular disease market continues to grow at an estimated annual rate of 2%, our technology offers a scalable solution to manage this increasing burden, something that existing solutions are simply unable to do. Currently, we are a pre-revenue generating startup. However, we anticipate a US product launch at the end of 2025 with deployment in 2 hospitals and 2 vascular imaging centers utilizing our clinical advisor network. By 2026, we aim to double our hospital presence and triple the number of vascular imaging centers, setting the foundation for profitability by 2027. Now, in addition to this increased market opportunity, our scalability also encompasses two other critical aspects. So one is product expansion. So while our initial focus is on scans in the neck artery, Vaso 3D is scalable to various other vascular indications. Secondly is geographical expansion. So while we're starting in the US and Canada, we aim to address a global need with over two-thirds of the world lacking access to life-saving vascular diagnostics. Now, none of this is possible without our exceptional team. So Sonaro's core members are a mix of MDs and PhD alumni from McGill and MIT with over 30 years of collective experience in cardiovascular medicine, 3D ultrasound imaging, and computer vision. We're also supported by a dynamic engineering team, seasoned mentors from business, regulatory, and IP sectors, and our clinical advisors who span the spectrum of potential end users for our solution, ranging from radiologists, sonographers, to vascular surgeons. Now, since our inception 1.5 years ago, we've made significant progress, including MVP development, IP protection, strategic partnerships, and the launch of our first clinical study. The next 6 months, our focus is on clinical validation as we prepare to submit our 510(k) application to the FDA by mid-2025. 2025 will also be the year for our US product launch, and by 2026, after securing Health Canada approval, we'll launch our product in Canada as well as strengthen our market presence in the US through strategic partnerships with portable ultrasound manufacturers. Now, to get us to our current stage, we've secured close to $550,000 through non-dilutive grants and our first safe investment. But as we prepare for significant milestones in the next 2 years, we are actively raising a seed round of $1.5 million by early 2025. We recently secured a $100K investment from the Montreal General Hospital Foundation and have additional $300K in soft commitments. So with your support, we at Sonaro can transform stroke risk assessment by overcoming limitations of current 2D ultrasound tools. Vaso 3D is designed to make a measurable impact, saving patients from stroke risk misclassification and reducing lengthy examinations by 90%, allowing for a 4 times increase in patient throughput. As a result, our customers can not only benefit from increased patient volume, but also leverage additional billing opportunities per patient, leading to a 3.5-fold increase in revenue per year. So please join Sonaro in saving lives one scan at a time and ensure that no patient like Maria is ever missed again. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you. Oh, you're muted, Katie.
I'm muted. Oh, this like every pitch
Happens
back.
to the best of us, right?
Yes, this hasn't happened. I thought I was on a good streak, but thanks, Karina, for letting me know. I saw Michelle unmute right away, so I'm
Yeah,
hopefully she's not
I'm happy.
hesitant to dive. Great,
Yeah,
beautiful.
I'm happy
Okay,
to. So,
let's
well,
dive
Karina,
in.
really good job. I thought the pace of your pitch was really well. Like it was easy to follow. I thought you spoke. Um, Often people rush and you didn't do that, which I liked. The slides that I would definitely make sure you highlight, with especially going into a seed round, I would almost pull your team slide up more near the top of like laying the level of like why us? Why are we the team to do this? I think you guys all have very strong backgrounds. And I would even put more emphasis on that because especially at this stage, pre-revenue, like it really is a founder bet.
That's true.
The other slides I thought were really strong. The workflow slide of like, it showed the video, it showed what it looked like, it showed what it produced. Like for me, that really solidified what the product does. So even like maybe even more time or earlier, just because then I have an idea of what's happening as we're talking about like the go-to-market and things like that. And then the clinical validation. I think that's another one that really is like a proof of concept of yes, we have something, particularly as you move into kind of FDA approval on the class 2. The one thing I thought was missing, it didn't really talk about the sales of how you were going to achieve that revenue, the go-to-market. So maybe explaining that through like sales channels, like kind of what the thoughts around that. But yeah, overall, I thought you did a great job. I would just highlight the team more and yeah, maybe reorder slides a bit, but I'll pause there and let everyone else jump in with comments.
Fantastic. What about you, Linda?
I just had a couple of questions. I might have missed it, but I didn't see the price, I guess, what do you, how much is it going to cost them to move up to your product in addition to the 2D? I didn't
Yeah.
get a good sense of that.
Yeah, so it was in our business model slide. So it's a fee per scan, so $50 per scan, and then an annual service fee as well.
Okay. And how does that compare to what they're paying now, or what they would, I mean, I guess this is in addition to something they already have.
Yeah, so right now it's just a traditional 2D ultrasound exam, which they have a CPT code that can reimburse for that.
Okay.
So the fact is that we can increase patient volume, so they're seeing more patients per day, but also there's an extra CPT code that they can leverage to get additional reimbursement using our tech.
Okay. And how many, you mentioned, I think 20 patients in a study that's already been done.
That's the initial study, yeah.
Yeah. How many does the FDA require? Like how many, what kind of population? Yeah.
Yeah, so basically right now we've been working with consultants. So we came up with 100-patient cohort for our studies to go for FDA approval. But that's the pre-sub meeting that we're going to have in the next couple of months, just to kind of get their interpretation of if that's what they agree with.
Okay. Thank you. No, that was great.
Thank you so much for those questions.
Great questions. Mariska? Oh,
there. Yeah,
we
no,
go.
I didn't speak. I was just trying to get it off mute. I thought you did an excellent job. Agreed on the pace was really very well done, and the timing through the slides. One area I just wanted to understand the market a little bit better. In particular, like how far you guys are still waiting on FDA approval, but you mentioned some of the competitors, and I wasn't quite sure how far advanced they are, or if you guys are waiting until, I think it's you're anticipating 2025. I can't remember what the timing is, but how far ahead or behind the market are you?
Yeah, so exactly. So we're anticipating at the end of 2025 to start launching in areas where the standard of care is already established. So they're using these 2D ultrasound machines. So we can just add on to that. And then by 2026, we'll get a partnership with a portable ultrasound to then enter these areas where competitors can't reach. So in collaboration with a portable ultrasound manufacturer, we'll be able to enter like mobile services or rural clinics. Now, with our current competitors, for example, the 3D ultrasound machines, they're not being used in the standard of care, so they haven't penetrated any market to date. Secondly, Elucid and Clearly are image analysis on CT and MRI, so they can only access 43% of the current market for patients who have to undergo confirmatory imaging. So the only real competitor I would say is C-Mode, but they're only doing 2D image analysis, so they're able to enter those standard of care markets. So they are FDA approved. They are actually one of our predicate devices. But then again, with their technology, they can't access these new revenue streams that we can.
Okay, yeah.
Explain.
Yeah, that's just one area where I was curious, is just in terms of the competitors, just understanding where they're at a little bit more. Yeah. No, I thought it was very well done.
Thank you so much.
Fantastic. And Mary, I know you're participating as a coach as well, but would you like to ask any questions or provide any feedback?
Sure. First of all, I thought it was an excellent pitch. So I think it's the third time I've heard it. But I really understand the problem you're trying to solve, which is really great. You quantified it at the 30%. I really liked the fact that you highlighted you had a supply agreement. I also really liked your clinical validation slide.
Thank you.
And I really love the fact that you're going to do a study in the US, because at the end of the day, that's where the money is in the US, right? So that's very important. The other thing, I had a question on who is your network? Who are you? You reference your network of clinical and medical advisors, and you did answer that later in your team slide. So I think it goes back to what Michelle.
Yeah, to bring it higher up, which makes sense.
Because I was questioning that. I did have a question though, not related to your pitch, but if I have no doubt your solution works and you can generate revenue, but I have a question: why, if a doctor saw plaque, any kind of plaque, like they must have sent this patient for an ultrasound for a reason, whether it's family history or if they sent them for an ultrasound and they saw any plaque at all, why wouldn't they just treat them like with preventative stroke medicine, which is blood pressure medicine or statin, and it's all very common? Like, why do they need more tools? Why wouldn't, if they saw anything, defer? Like, why wouldn't they just treat them?
Yeah, that's a great point. So really the treatment is associated not so much whether there's a presence of a plaque or not, it's according to the severity of the plaque. And so they classify patients into different categories of how much blockage that plaque causes. So under 50% blockage, they will not do any form of treatment. They may put them on statins or high blood pressure medications, and that will depend if they have high blood pressure or if they have high cholesterol. But under 50%, they don't intervene, and above 50%, there's different categories of intervention. And so that's where having that severity, that important accuracy in terms of severity classification is important, because from 49% to 51%, that makes a difference, and also at other higher levels of severity as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Great job, Karina. Just before we conclude, is there any other questions you have or anything else you'd like to add?
I just, because I added the new slide, which came after, so I have 2 slides that are about the competitor. Maybe I can just put it up quickly.
Yeah, show it. I saw the addition. Great job.
But I wanted to know if that was effective at all. But let me just share my screen quickly. Are you seeing my screen or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we're seeing both. Yep, there you go.
Okay, let me show you. So this highlighted sort of the features that differed between the different competitors and myself. And then here I wanted to highlight the market opportunity. So the different revenue streams and how we can sort of tackle all of these, and then where our competitors lack. I was wondering if this slide kind of came through, or is there ways to improve this in the way that I presented?
I found, to be honest, I didn't know there was 2 different ones.
Okay.
So I think having them back to back, because they're the same format as you're flipping through, like, I did notice the numbers, but I didn't recall there being like a landscape one before.
I see. Okay.
So maybe if you're having those, like have one with the market, like have the market opportunity slide with the TAM slide, maybe is an option. One comment on the landscape side though, is you were talking about the 2 different groups. Maybe just like color code the top, like under 3D Ultra, and like clearly like have them different colors, just so when you're saying like 2 different groups, people know which ones fall into which bucket.
Okay, yeah, that's perfect. And yeah, I agree. Like, I think having this look exactly the same, people don't realize that it's different.
That you're flipping, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe presenting it in a different way to capture it.
I thought the market opportunity slide was good to have too, but it left me with some questions, and I think you can address them verbally. So the 3D ultrasound isn't showing up in any of these market settings. So what you're saying is here is 3D ultrasound hasn't really caught on because it's too expensive.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you just elaborate on that a little more, and the 43% numbers I looked at, I didn't understand what they meant. So you might have to speak to them a bit too.
Okay.
I agree with Maureen. I don't know what the slide means, but I also only saw one slide, so.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I think I need to work on presenting this differently.
Yeah. And you can work with our designer too, Karina, just as a
Yeah,
plug and reminder.
I think that would be a great idea for this.
Yeah, and they're there for you to book sessions, up to 5 hours working with our designer. So there might be really unique ways where you can showcase this and highlight, even using different color coding and fading and, all of that type of stuff to really emphasize what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Can I have one more comment just before we switch? Just when I was thinking about like the go-to-market and the sales kind of like function, and maybe you've already thought about this, but definitely think about who within the organizations you're selling to would like be the champion for them. Like the success I've really seen is when like you feel like you're still selling to a person versus an enterprise, because it really is going to be someone with a P&L they control that like says yes or nay to like trying this innovation. So like Really use your advisors to try to find those people, because that'll really make a difference on success within sales.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Great job.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Just making a couple notes. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording.